The skill of the dwarves was unequalled, fashioning objects of great beauty.
Michael Van, and welcome back to another Araquin Calidrim video from the Workbench. This time, Yukura and Aram out there, craftspeople. We're pretty humble craftspeople. There are lots of more talented people out there. But we thought we'd show you some conversions we're working on because somebody's really new into conversions and is getting the bug.
They're fun. They're fun.
And they're not hard. So why don't we just jump to the bench and show off some stuff that he has been learning with that you can do too. So if you're a novice on conversion, I would say I'm not a novice, but I am no expert. I've done some things I'm proud of. If you look at our first few videos in this channel, I've got a Radagast on wakeboard, surfing with dolphins. Pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of it.
Redo that video.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, pretty proud of that. I've got some fun things I'm working on. I have done a couple of elk conversions, Mirkwood Cav, that I've turned into elk. I've borrowed some parts from some, they're not Sylvaneth, but they are from Age of Sigmar. Actually, I think they are Sylvaneth. I don't know anything about Sigmar except that I cut the models up.
So you're talking about the elks?
Yeah, I converted some
Wild
horses and Wild Riders together. I think the Wild Riders are from the Sylvaneth, though. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Anyway, cut them up, turn some Wild Riders and some Mirkwood Cav into Mirkwood Elk Cav. Not a hard conversion. Tricky because the scales are different, but anyway. I would say maybe that's a level 2 conversion, and level 10 is when you get somebody like a Shadow and Flame, Dave or Kev. If you're watching this,
of green stuff.
You guys are
that's
brilliant.
Inhuman. It's amazing.
Lots of really good sculptors out there. Many of them do fantastic commission work. Lots of studios where you can get fantastic commission work done. I'm so thankful that I was able to get a bunch of custom Ents made by Shadow and Flame. I have one of each of the models that they were working on, so we may show off some pictures of those. I got to finish painting a couple of them yet. I've been getting distracted.
You just love to flex your Ent army.
It's just totally unusable, but a whole lot of fun. I might have to turn that into a special scenario for an event someday. So
that's an idea.
Let's jump to the bench and take a look at some simple conversions that you can do to personalize your army and make it your own. All right, so here's a quick view of our workbench. We've got just a couple things sitting out on the workbench, and these orcs from the Red Hand of Isengard. So, this is a warband Ronan's been working on for a while. Tell us your story. What are you up to?
Brief story behind these guys. I'm doing a bunch of narrative campaigns right now. So in these campaigns, I've got a whole bunch of custom characters that I've made up, and I wanted to naturally have models I could use to represent them. So I went ahead and chopped up a bunch of Uruk-hai weapon swaps and stuff like that, just to make a couple of unique poses that I could just look at my shelf and just distinctly know that that's who those characters were.
Simplest conversions going are when you do weapon swaps and part swaps and you put different heads on bodies, all this kind of stuff. These are good ideas for conversions. All right, why don't you show us a couple?
So
you've got a
really
not-so-berserker with a couple of weapons over there.
Yeah, this guy?
Yeah.
So he's kind of funky. He's my latest one. So he started off life as an Uruk-hai warrior. So he started off as this pose, the dude that's running forward. Just simple, basic warrior. His arm is actually removable. Focus, please. There we go. So with this specific Uruk-hai warrior pose, the shield arm is actually a separate piece. So I just didn't put that on. And instead, I just chopped an arm off of the sapper, put it on so that he had 2 blank arms. Uruk-hai sappers are the most helpful conversion models because they have 2 actual regular arms. Took 2 berserker cleavers, chopped them off of the plastic ones you get from the siege troop pack. Siege troop pack overall is just great for conversions. Chopped off a berserker head, chopped off the warrior head, and bang, berserker in heavy armor, dual wielding cleavers, which obviously is a special character in the campaign.
Anything like this also makes really nice captains. If you want to just swap them out for captain models, there's lots of good opportunity to just make your own custom captain. Show us some more.
Or for battle companies.
For battle companies especially, yeah.
Really easy thing. This was actually an idea that was created way back when I was first getting into the game. So this is literally just an Uruk-hai sapper, but he's got a crossbow in his hand. Fun thing about the crossbow, though, it was actually scratch built. Really easy way to do this. You take a toothpick, one of the ones that's thick on one end and thin on the other. You chop it in half, you flip and fold it over itself, and then you take a Moria Goblin, because everybody has Moria Goblins. You chop the hand off at the wrist. I should have pulled out a goblin. And bang, you just glue the hand onto the end of the popsicle stick or toothpick or whatever you're using, and you have a crossbow.
So it's also easy to build something like that with leftover sprue bits or with almost anything that's long and straight. But yeah, so there's a homemade crossbow. I would not say that was a super talented crossbow.
No,
There's some sculptors out here that could do much better, but it worked.
This is an idea that someone who didn't want to go out and buy a crap ton of Urkai crossbows, but still wanted to use Urkai crossbows, did.
Made it on their own.
Exactly.
Show us some more.
This is fun, guy. If you have parts bins, this is literally just a dude with a cape. So I literally just took a cape from our parts bin, glued it onto his back, did a head swap, because I like the Urkai sapper armor, and I put a warrior's head on a sapper's body, and then gave him a longsword, just because he's got a fancy sword in the campaign. So there you go.
Cape and a fancy sword. Must be a captain or a hero.
Exactly. Other conversions just include simple weapon swaps, like this guy's wielding a pair of daggers as opposed to his typical short sword. Wow, focus not working today.
It's because we're moving around too much.
That's fair. There we go. So he's just dual wielding a pair of daggers, which were made from the tips of Urkai pikes, just so that it's distinctly Urkai style.
Yeah, very consistent with the rest of the army.
These dudes actually go in a pair. They're kind of a fun story. So I wanted to do a conversion for a spear guy or a pike guy. So for this guy, he started out life as this pose of the sapper right here. So running forward with the sword. And I wanted to give him a spear just because his hands look like almost in the ideal position. So cut off his hands at the wrists, just removed that hand altogether. Glued a different hand on, the hand actually from this gentleman, before I replaced it, and I actually took this guy's sword hand off and put it on this man so that he's dual wielding. And then took the empty hand, stuck it on there, chopped off a pike from an extra dude, just glued it on there, and bang, I've got a custom pose with a pike.
And kind of honestly, interesting too when you can trade parts from different poses and try not to put anything to waste. There's some good opportunity there to just keep using.
I suck at conversions, so this hand is actually awful. If you look in on that hand, I'm actually just not going to show it on camera. But yeah, it's got some work that could be done on it.
Great way to learn though. Definite beginner's work, but it's great.
Other easy ones include two-handed weapons. There's tons of really cheap orcs you can find all over the place. This is just one of the standard Urkai poses. Arms cut off, replaced with one of those two-handed orcs, because they actually have separate pieces for their arms. Their arms are connected as one piece, and they're not connected to the torso. So chopped off the Urkai arms, replaced them with that, and then stuck an Urkai blade on the end, as opposed to the standard orc axe, just because that looks so much cooler, in my opinion.
There you go. Personal. It's yours.
Exactly.
Making it yours makes it more fun. So you can see in the back, there's lots of different ways that we can make some really easy conversions.
These are way more epic conversions than what I do.
But not really hard. So here's my birder. I painted up my Angmar army to be very icy themed because they're from the north. It just sort of made sense. So my birder, again, we went to the parts bin and I put a hilt underneath his hand, put a piece of craft chain from a local craft store, and this is plastic that I busted up in sort of random pieces, and I grabbed a big one that looked like a rock size, sort of big one. Trolley sized rock. So he's got an ice mace just because, and that makes my birder feel that much icier. So adding weapons to models with open hands is a really, really easy and fun conversion. Probably the conversion I'm the most proud of so far, just in terms of how it turned out and how it looks. It was not actually much of a change. It's just a different base. But yeah, this is my wakeboarding Radagast. We've got a whole separate video on how he was done. And really the model is not different. It's, this model came right out of the Radagast on Sleigh kit. And I cut up some dolphins from a local toy store and made up a nice base and put them on that base, and now I've got Radagast wakeboarding. There's separate videos on our channel for that. A harder conversion, thanks for helping us, Dennis.
Yep.
This one was harder, but not terrible. And again, we've got videos on this guy too. So putting ice breath into his mouth, an ice puff under his hand, ice shards all down his back, had to cut off all the flame that was there, giving him an ice mace. Again, this is not an overly difficult conversion. Having access to the right pieces is where this starts. You want to put that down, son? Having access to the right pieces makes a difference, but we did a whole different video on that too and showed some good detail on how you would do that conversion. So easy conversions to start with, literally, fun bases and swapping pieces and replacing pieces with pieces from other game systems sometimes. And or swapping parts around with your parts bin and just adding some extra bits where you have room for extra bits. You can do a lot of customizing without doing a whole lot of work. So there you go. There's our introduction to conversions from Eric Wincalodrum. I hope that was fun. And please go out and do some converting. Make your armies your own. Have some fun with them. And if you get really ambitious, actually right over there is my Douglas fir.
Which guy is this now?
The tall guy in the back.
That guy.
Kudos to Shadow and Flame. Once you've got more experience than I have, this is scratch sculpted by Shadow and Flame. It is a Douglas fir ant, one of the few in existence, and they only made a couple of these for people.
And I'm
But
pretty
they
sure
are so talented. This is right out of Green Stuff.
and it's inspired from the movie.
Absolutely.
If you go back to the movie, I believe this is the ant that catches fire.
I don't remember if it was him or Beachbone, but it might just be, yeah.
Well, in the
Let's
book
put
it's
him on.
Beachbone, but in the movie Beachbone doesn't exist.
That's
And
true
I'm
enough.
pretty sure that this guy is the dude that catches fire.
So if you're much more talented than me, you can start doing some scratch build sculpting like that. But if you're not, this is the level we're at. We really enjoy putting custom weapons and custom features on our models. So hope you've enjoyed the video. My Govan, and we'll talk to you again really soon. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.